Hello everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to use your new Fettle sewing kit. So first we're going to go through threading the needle. These needles in this pack do come already threaded, but once you've run out of thread you will need to know the best way to do it. I've got a little pair of snips. Now you can pick these up from Wilko's or at the market and the haberdashery. They only cost a couple of pounds. If you have got a pair of scissors that's quite sharp at home, then you can use those, but never use the scissors on paper because it does blunt them. So we're just going to start threading the eye of the needle. Make sure you're in quite a light spot that you can see exactly where the eye is, because it is very, very small to see. There we go. So I've got the needle and the thread. Now I've doubled over the thread, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot at the bottom of the thread. So I'm just doubling it over and I'm tying the knot there, and then again I'm going to tie another knot on top of it, and so it just ties. So you can see there it's gone on top of the other one, and I tend to do a third one just for luck, just so that I know that it is nice and firm at the bottom. And there we go. That's 3 knots on the thread. And then at the end I just give it a bit of a trim before I start to sew, so the tail isn't too long, and that will stop the needle, when you're sewing on the button, coming through the fibres. That will keep it nice and secure. So I'm going to go through threading on a button. What tends to happen with mass-produced garments is that the buttons aren't sewn on very securely, so people lose the buttons and then they stop wearing the garments. So this is to prevent you from doing this. I've got a shirt here that has got a missing button. So the easiest way to sew on is to look where the button went, and luckily on this shirt I have got some little marks there where the actual button went. If you're not sure of where it actually went, best thing to do is measure the distance between the other 2 buttons that still remain, and then find a center point there and just do a little dot with a pen, and it will be covered up then by the button afterwards. So when you're first sewing, I've got your needle and thread and you've got your little knot in the end that we've made. So we've got a right side of the garment that's always on view to everybody, and the wrong side is where all the stitching takes place. So we're going to first start stitching underneath on the wrong side, the part where nobody will see. Okay, and I'm bringing that needle through like that until you get to the point where it won't come through anymore because your knot is holding it there. Okay, and then I place the button onto the fabric. It's much easier doing it this way than trying to force it through the fabric and the button, because in that way you can actually find a precise point of where you're going to sew first before you're trying to get it through the button. Okay, now I've got it held in place with my finger, the button, and I'm going to go back in the opposite hole just like that, and I'm just going to pull like that, and then that's nice and secure. Okay, then I'm going to, at the back, I'm going to cross over where I just came, and I'm going to go in the opposite hole. So I just sewn on this side and I'm going on to this side now, and then pull up and then back in to the hole that you've not done yet, and there you go. So now I've gone over and under that way, and then come up and then gone over and under into there. So now I'm going to cross over again at the back and come up on the opposite side to where we started, and then I'm going to go over, keeping on that side, and just go over what we already did, and then cross over at the back. Now I never cross over on the front. I like to keep it nice and neat on the front, so you only have 2 little bridges that go over on the front. I don't go over the other 2 holes. I think it looks a lot more tidier and nicer, and it's still just as secure doing it like this. So finally I'm just doing a 3rd time where I go up and then back down on that first one that you did, and then finally on the other side, up and then back down like that, and that is it. That's your button stitched on. Okay, so now all that's left to do is tie off a knot on the back of the actual button so that it's not going to come unstuck now. So it's the best way to do it is go back into the stitching that you've just done like that, and then as you're pulling that loop, you see that loop there, I'm going to bring the needle in to the loop and then pull, and that ties it in a knot. And again I'm going to go back in again and sort of, there we go, I've gone back into there, and then through the loop and pull, and that is nice and secure now. So I've done a double knot and that button is not going to come off at all. Okay, and then all that's left to do is just trim it at the back as short as you can. I'm just going to cut that tail off a little bit more from the one. There we go. So that's reasonably tidy at the back and lovely at the front there, all ready to wear again. So I do hope that you've learned something today from this little video that I've made on how to sew a button, and you're all going to have a go at sewing buttons on at home and those garments that need the buttons sewing back on. Keep them going. If there is anything else that you would like to learn, please would you ask in the comments box below, and we will try our best to create more videos to give you a helping hand into repairing your garments. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.